let's turn to our first topic. As you know, WikiLeaks has released more than 20,000 emails they say came from Clinton's campaign manager or campaign chairman, John Podesta. U.S. intelligence agencies say the emails were stolen by hackers working for the Russian government. In other words, it was Russia's spy agency that gave the emails to WikiLeaks in an effort to interfere with the U.S. presidential elections. And Democrats are pointing a finger at South Florida's very own Roger Stone, described as a master of the political dark arts, as being the middleman between WikiLeaks and the Trump campaign. They have called for a federal investigation. But before Stone talks to the FBI or anyone else, he's here with us this morning. Roger, thank you for having me back, or thank you for coming back on the show.
Great to be here.
Sorry for getting you up so early, but I thought this was important. I thought you would want to address it specifically and head on.
Yeah, I'm happy to. First of all, this is the new McCarthyism. If you're not for war with Russia over Syria, you're a Russian agent. It's an absurdity. First of all, there is no proof that the WikiLeaks material comes from the Russians. No Republican on the Senate or House Intelligence Committee has seen confirmation of that.
17
political appointees. No, 17 political appointees.
So you're saying the entire intelligence community is lying about this?
First of all, I had Admiral James Woolsey on my program, Stone Cold Truth, yesterday, the former director. He denies it. Secondarily, there's no bipartisan sharing of that evidence, and it sounds, strangely enough, in an administration where the FBI director and the CIA director have been politicized, to be a Clinton campaign talking point. I don't work for the Russians. I don't believe Assange does either. I had no advance notice that Mr.
Assange?
Mr. Podesta's
right.
emails would be hacked. I do have a contact, a back channel contact.
You've described, so let's explain that.
Sure.
You told me before, and we published it, that you said you have back channel communications with Assange and WikiLeaks.
We have a mutual friend.
So what is exactly being passed in that back channel communication?
Broad information pertaining to the fact that WikiLeaks has information pertaining to massive secret surveillance, war, oil, the U.S. election.
What about the emails?
Only in the broad sense. They don't clear what they do with me, and they don't tell me what they're going to do in advance.
So are they using you at all to pass information to the Trump campaign? Because you're an ally of Donald Trump, have been for years, and you still regularly communicate with Donald Trump.
No, I'm using them to write a blog that more people read than watch MSNBC. So, no, the answer would be no.
All right, now you also told me, so I just want to get on the record, have you ever met Julian Assange?
Have not. Never spoken to him. I do admire him. I think that he is exposing the deep state, both Republicans and Democrats, and the malfeasance and duplicity of government.
I want to play one piece of sound. We're going to go to the Cummings sound. I want to go to Elijah Cummings, one of the members of Congress, is calling for an investigation into you and the whole scandal. And this is what he told us earlier this week.
The intelligence authorities in our country saying that they firmly believe that Russia is behind a lot of these WikiLeaks emails that are going out. Then you had Mr. Stone with advanced knowledge, apparently, of these leaks coming out. And he, of course, has been instrumental in the Trump campaign. If Stone was involved in that process, knew about the process, had advance notice of the process, could predict what was going to happen in the process, then I think, he should be asked questions.
All right, let me just, before I get you to respond directly to that, let's go to that point. Have you been contacted by the FBI?
I have not, but I'd be happy to cooperate because there is simply nothing to find. I had no advance knowledge. I think what they've done here is taken a tweet I posted in August that Podesta's business dealings in the region would be examined.
Well, your tweet said, actually, it's Podesta's time in the barrel was going to come, meaning there was going to be a bad period of time for Podesta.
Context. Podesta and his allies were savaging my former partner, Paul Manafort, for non-existent violations of the law in the same region. All I was saying was that his activities, Podesta's activities in the region, were well known. I didn't need Julian Assange to tell me that. If you go to the Stone Cold Truth, I have a long, long piece about Podesta's money laundering for the Russian mafia and the Clinton Foundation. None of that material will be found in WikiLeaks. That's my own original research.
You said a second ago that you have a lot of respect for Julian Assange.
I do.
There are people, though, who say that essentially what he's done is illegal. He's taken and stolen material from the Democrats,
Yes.
and is releasing it. And Marco Rubio made a statement recently saying that he does not believe that Republicans should traffic in the WikiLeaks material. Let me play what Marco Rubio said and get you to comment on it.
I'm not going to do it, and I've advised my fellow Republicans not to continue to do it because, again, do we really want to live in a country where a foreign intelligence agency can blackmail our public officials by threatening that if you don't do what they want, they're going to release your daughter's emails, your son's emails, your wife's emails. And today it's them, tomorrow it could be us, or everybody for that matter.
Isn't he right there? Isn't it a scary proposition if you're going to traffic in stolen merchandise that way?
No, not at all. We're trafficking in information. The American people have a right to know if their country is, and their political process is corrupt. The leaking of the Democratic National Committee documents that showed that Debbie Wasserman Schultz worked as an instrument to cheat to beat Senator Bernie Sanders, the public has a right to know that, actually. So I think they did a service by letting the American people know that.
I want to ask you, because you've also been talking about, echoing a theme that Donald Trump has been using, talking about this election being rigged. Do you believe that this is going to be a fair election, or do you think the election is rigged and predetermined for Hillary Clinton?
I think it remains to be seen. All I'm saying is that our election needs to adhere to the exact international standard that the U.S. State Department requires when we determine the legality and fairness of foreign elections, and that is exit polls, when compared to the actual machine results, have no more than a 2% variance. If that is the case, then we will have had an honest election. If that is not the case, well, then we have evidence of vote rigging.
Isn't it dangerous what Donald Trump has been doing, though, in terms of undermining confidence in the U.S. election system?
No, on the contrary. He should certainly endorse the outcome of the election unless there is widespread evidence, I mean hard evidence that would be admissible in court of fraud and manipulation. Our State Department requires that of foreign elections. Why would it be unreasonable for us to hold the same standard here? So I think he should preserve his options until he sees that we have an honest and fair election. We here in Florida, particularly Miami-Dade, know something about ballot hustling and election fraud, do we not?
We do. Well, let me ask you this. If Donald Trump loses, as some polls suggest that he will, what do you think he does next? Does he stay as the head of this movement, or do you think he just goes back to golf courses and building great buildings?
Well, first of all, I think we need to know the circumstances under which he loses, if he loses. If he loses fair and square, he should concede and support the new president. If there is evidence, widespread evidence of both voter fraud and machine manipulation, two completely different issues.
No, but I'm saying if he loses legitimately and
I think that he's less likely to lead a movement. If, on the other hand, there is evidence of inappropriate, conduct of the election, then I think it's more likely that he stays as a spokesman for the movement.
You were happy when Donald Trump started raising the issue of Bill Clinton's accusers.
Yes.
You wrote a book very much about this.
Yes.
But yet Donald Trump has been heavily criticized by some, even within his own party, for bringing up something that was extraneous. Do you think in the long run it actually hurt him more than it helped him?
No, I didn't, because the issue is not Bill Clinton's sexual assaults against women. It's Hillary Clinton's role in bullying and intimidating and threatening those victims. And then this response of women coming forward to say that Trump attacked them with no corroboration. Would they let you write that at the Miami Herald? I say it, but I have no corroboration.
If somebody's willing to come forward, there is corroboration for some of the women. They come forward with their names, they're willing to use their names, and they told people extemporaneous at the time, many of them, what had occurred to them. That is evidence.
I have a long-term White House employee who heard Hillary Clinton use the N-word. He doesn't have a witness. Should that be on the front page of the Miami Herald? Would you feature him here at CBS without any corroboration? I don't think so.
Roger Stone, always fascinating having you come on. I really do appreciate you taking the time. Let's do this again before this election is over.
Great to be here.
All right, thank you. All right, up next, could this election be decided by a massive influx of Puerto Ricans into Florida? I'll have that coming up.